It's Tommy Coulter with Stocks and Sports, chiming in here live in the hills of Ocala. Today we have a special treat for you. On the other line today with this edition of this show, on this Throwback Thursday, we have the original, he needs no introduction, Johnny the Matador, on our exclusive Conversation with Johnny. Johnny, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you?
Johnny, it's an honor to have you. We're so excited. We can't wait to go over these fun picks. We're going to want an update on Charlie the Beach Bum, and what he's got going on, where you think he's going to come in to the team. We want to talk a little bit about the Super Bowl. We got so much to cover. I'm just so excited to have you. Just tell the audience, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. How did you get started, or what's your story?
Well, thank you, Mr. Coulter. It's quite a story, getting involved with Stocks&Sports. I've always been a big sports fan. I was a former collegiate athlete, Division I football player for the University of Miami, Go Canes. I'm a big Canes fan, obviously. I'm not a collegiate athlete anymore. I'm out of that world now, but, being a part of sports made me understand the game a lot, and, I try to bring that into what I'm doing now with these fun picks now that it's legal in the state of New Jersey to place safe bets on sporting events here. So, yeah, that's kind of my story there. I do other things too. I drive a fuel truck as a full-time job. I deliver oil and fuel, and I work in that field. I've been a commercial driver for over a year and a half now, and this is a fun thing for me to kind of, I love the NBA. I make these fun picks. Guys listen in. Some guys play my picks, and they have success, and it's this whole Matador thing, taking the bull by the horns kind of mentality that we love. And, guys are really I'm getting a following. I'm getting a lot of interest. I'm getting calls from friends and other people, family, and saying, wow, this is interesting and this is exciting. So, yeah, it's been great to be a part of the team in Stocks&Sports. And I'm just going to continue to do my thing here.
Oh, it's an honor. Thank you for sharing, all that information with us. That was a lot, but that's awesome. That's so much good stuff. Now, you mentioned Miami and the Hurricanes. What's your take about, I know you're from Philadelphia and you're going to be down there working our Atlantic City studio with this TJ Green. He's the pod stock analyst. He did a nice piece today. I don't know if you had time to hear it about the volatility of the pod stocks. But let's get to the Super Bowl. Down here in Miami, we got Pitbull chiming in the background. Let's talk a little bit of KC Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers. What's your thought on this game down there at South Beach with Rocky, Pitbull, all these celebs? What do you think, as Marvin Gaye was saying, what's going on down there? What's your take on the game?
I think, it's an exciting Super Bowl. It's one for the ages. You got San Francisco. It's a great team. You got two great quarterbacks. Andy Reid, he's always been, basically a cornerstone for this league. I feel like as a head coach, he's going to be a Hall of Fame head coach. I believe that, whether he wins or loses the game this Sunday. And my bet is with Andy. I'm going with the Chiefs covering the spread for this one. And, I have a lot of admiration for him. Johnny the Matador is a huge Eagles, as well as a Canes fan. I'm also a huge Eagles fan and Philadelphia sports fan. So I spent, years growing up watching the Eagles play on, Fox, and Andy Reid was our head coach, and I thought he did a pretty decent job for the most part. It's not an easy league to win in, and I think it's his turn. I want to see him get a turn and have some success here and win the Super Bowl. I think that would be great.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, too, as well. So you like the Chiefs in the game, which is fine, and then, you played for Miami. What do you think about Pitbull? Just to do a maroon Maroon 5 shift here. What do you think about Pitbull? You think he's going to make a pop appearance? You know, Mr. Miami. You know, you think he's going to maybe do a chime in down at this Super Bowl? Or?
Well, I mean, Pitbull is a legendary entertainer, and he's a great musician and artist. He's exciting. You know, wherever he goes, you know, he brings a lot of energy and excitement. So I think, yeah, I mean, a place like this with the Super Bowl, he's definitely going to be around that kind of atmosphere with all these people coming in to watch this game. And, you know, he brings a lot of excitement. So, yeah, I think Pitbull is, you know, he's going to be awesome at the Super Bowl.
No, yeah, this is good stuff. Now, let's go back to Andy Reid for a minute. You know, you being from Philly, you know, home of cheesesteaks, you know, you got Pat Steaks, you got Geno's, you got a lot of good, you know, Italian little cheesesteaks over there in South Jersey. You know, give a shout out to some of those guys over there. Good old Nick and Joe's from Brooklyn, New York, you know. But anyhow, what I was going to ask you is, what's your thoughts if, like, Andy Reid had his choice between a Pat's cheesesteak or like a Big Mac from McDonald's? I mean, do you think he would go with a double cheeseburger? Or what do you think he would order at McDonald's?
I heard this. Well, I know this because I know this from Ike Reese because I listen to Ike Reese, and I'm a big fan of Ike, even though we sometimes, I don't agree with everything he says on air.
Oh, yeah, but nobody's perfect. You know,
yeah, I know. But I like Ike Reese. I liked him as a player. You know, he said that, you know, the Eagles used to have a fast food day every Friday. You know, where they call it fast food, and that was big.
Well, they better make sure they don't eat meat on Fridays, you know? Better send them some McDonald's fish sandwiches or something.
Yeah. So I think Andy's a cheeseburger kind of guy. If I would have to guess, I would think he would go with a burger. But I could be wrong. He might like a cheesesteak.
I mean, do you think he would order a single cheeseburger or a double cheeseburger at McDonald's?
I think he would go with a double.
And you would go with a cheesesteak, with or without the fried onions?
Me, I'm a cheesesteak and fried onion guy.
All right, fair enough.
I really I like Pat's and I like Geno's. I'm a traditional guy when it comes to a cheesesteak, and I always like it whether like going right before a Flyers or a Sixers game or an Eagles game, stopping over there and getting this cheesesteak before the game. It's nice.
That sounds good. And now I'll just mention one last thing to get your take on this. I mean, the way you've been hitting some of these picks. You know, I was back at the Super Bowl. I guess it was Jackie Smith with the Dallas Cowboys and Terry Bradshaw with the Steelers back down there in Miami. I guess it was the old, I forget the name of it. What was it, the Orange Bowl? And to try to make a long story short, I remember that during halftime or whatever, we actually were 3 seats behind Jimmy the Greek. Yeah, he had a little bit of controversy, I think, there at the end. You know, but he was good with picking, you know, these Super Bowl wins. Some of these announcers are good, too. Now, you mentioned to me one time when I was talking to you a little bit about Howie Long. Who do you think Howie likes in the big game? And then if you think that Howie and Andy Reid were sitting down at McDonald's together, what do you think Howie Long would order? I mean, do you think he'd order something like a salad or something like that, you know?
Well, I mean, I knew Chris Long, Howie Long's son. I played against Chris Long in college.
Really?
At UVA. And I went up against him in the Orange Bowl, and, you know, he was an All-American, decorated All-American. That's a tough assignment, trying to block a guy like him. He was outstanding, first-round draft pick.
Oh, my God.
So, I mean, I know they're pretty routine on nutrition. You know, obviously, though, they like, they like to drink whiskey and beer, and they're laid back. I think Howie's a laid back guy. I think he would order a cheeseburger from McDonald's and have a nice happy meal. I mean, he might do a salad on the side.
Oh my God!
But I mean, I think he's going in there. If he's in there with Andy Reid, he's going to get a Big Mac with Andy. If he's with like somebody else, maybe he's getting a salad. You know, it depends on the company you're with.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm going into McDonald's with Andy Reid, I'm getting like a big double quarter pounder.
Oh my God.
I'm not getting like I'm not getting a little side salad and like.
You're not going to get a Happy Meal, right? You don't want no Happy Meal?
I'm getting like we're getting like a big dog. Well, if I'm going in there with Andy, but depends. If I'm going in there with Aaron Andrews, the sideline reporter, I'm going to be getting like a little salad.
Yeah, that would be the right thing to do, Oh my God.
Yeah.
But guys, it's been a pleasure having you. I think, we should try to wrap this up in a couple minutes. We got some other stuff. So, do you have any picks for tonight for us? Do you have any picks?
Yeah, like always. And it's like I said, I was a former collegiate athlete, and I do not, condone college.
Oh, no, this is just, we don't give any investment of sports advice. This is called our fun bets, where, we want to hear your thoughts.
I wanted to make that clear. It's not, as long as you're out of the sport, you can't be a professional athlete.
No, all these guys have their opinions about stuff, stocks and sports, so it's no big deal. I had a guy today on Twitter, asking me questions about the pot stock company, so, we were able to tell him to step into the ring. I told him, give me a call, he's got our number, he knows where we're at, and that kind of stuff. But let's do this fun pick. So we did the Super Bowl. Let's move into these fun picks.
Let me just tell you, let me just chime in a little bit here. I'll just tell you, it's legal in the state of New Jersey. It's passed the Supreme Court laws, and it's a lot of fun. I played a parlay last night. I was in Wawa. There was a guy waiting in line to put a $20 in. He was trying to get a scratch-off ticket, $20. He's spending $20 on a scratch-off, and that's fun. You can win.
That's not good. No, that's not good.
But I got $20 on a parlay pick last night that could win out big if all the, and I'm watching sports and I'm into the NBA and they're small little bets, $10, $20. Don't be betting your paycheck. Don't be putting too much money on these games. Make it simple and have some fun and place your bets safely. And I got a couple picks tonight that I think will be fun to play. I'm going to go with the Toronto Raptors at the Cleveland Cavaliers. I got the Raptors covering the spread at -10. Now, these spreads can change. You can play them at different times of the day, but right now the spread is at -10, so I'm going to play that. Then I got the Charlotte Hornets are at the Washington Wizards. I got the Charlotte Hornets covering here, +4 on that game. And then my final pick of the night, I got the Utah Jazz at the Denver Nuggets. I'm going to go with the Nuggets covering the spread at -1.
All right, I like that.
Those are my picks for tonight.
Well, thank you for sharing all this stuff. I'm looking at the timer, and this was awesome. You made my work so much easier by calling us. So, we wanted to give you a big shout out and a thank you. I wanted to tell the folks that he has his own website. He is with us. He's affiliated with us, but, we're encouraging these guys, our on-air personalities, to go out and, as Brian Lopez would say, to kick some, what. But what's the name of your own YouTube? Why don't you tell the audience? Where can they contact you?
My YouTube is under my YouTube. If you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's under my name, my legal name. John Joseph Rochford is my legal name, so that's what I'm under there, and also Johnny the Matador. That's my nickname with the Stocks&Sports team here. And, it's the Matador. I wanted to get back to that because we were talking about, and it was very sad news about Kobe Bryant, who passed away suddenly. And, he was known as the Mamba, and that was his nickname. And it was a kind of a mentality that he kind of had, he did have to be a champion. It's the same thing with the Matador. They have to take the bull by the horns, be brave, and it's kind of like the same kind of mentality that we're taking on every day in life. And, making these fun picks is cool, and it's a lot of fun. So, just subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can hit subscribe. I'm on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. Listen into the picks. You don't have to play my picks. You can go against me too, and that can be fun as well. Either way. But it's just about having fun. It's about placing safe bets. It's about taking advantage of this. bets being legal in the state of New Jersey. I think it's great for the NBA, the NHL. They're going to drive up their revenue. They're going to have more fans interested. And I think the players would like knowing that some of the fans have a little bit of money on the game and making a little extra cash during the week, making because we're all trying to get to Friday to get to our paycheck. And if you get another, you win a parlay and make, an extra $200 that week, that's really cool.
I know. And then someday, you are going to be taking a seat on our board of directors. There's been a lot of jockeying for positions and stuff like that. So we wanted to welcome you to our family at Stocks and Sports. You will have a seat on the board, with all the other guys that you know. So we're so proud to have you, and we know that you're going to shine. We know that you're going to be like a light going forward. Just keep the faith, keep doing what you're doing for these, and then that's basically our motto here is we're people helping people. We're on a mission. We're going to have a lot of spin-off companies with this stuff too. That's going to happen. So just can't thank you enough for coming on. We're also psyched.
I think it's a wonderful thing, and you're teaching people. There's another side to this company, which is stocks. You got big-time CEOs chiming in. They want to get guys following their company. They're making money there, making safe money on the stock market. That people can do well there if they make the right decisions. So it's kind of learning those things too. The sports side of it, that's a little bit more of the fun side of it with the fun picks. Playing these games at night, and but yeah, you can have some fun with Stock and Sports. You're going to learn a lot through the process, and we're going to trust the process here.
No, that was very well said. Thank you so much. I'm going to end this clip now, and then why don't we, after we end this clip, because we're almost at the 17-minute mark, I'm going to close this out, and then I want you to stay on the line while I close this out. I want to come back and let's do a Charlie the Beach Bum for our audience. But I'm going to get working on closing this down. Once again, it's Tommy Coulter in the hills of Ocala with our own Johnny the Matador. And enjoy the rest of our shows.